Now we look at the SWOT analysis for Vienna. In terms of strengths, it has a strong public sector with the UN headquarters, has a strong and active government as well. It is a cultural city with a lot of tourism, research hub because it has a lot of investment focused on that with 2.8 billion euro budget. It is the number one most livable city worldwide, has an extensive social housing service with more than 400,000 units. It has a high density, outstanding water quality, good water disposal structure, and finally, high developed public transportation service. In terms of weaknesses, it is highly reliant on the population and an unsure immigrant situation with the refugees. The implementation can be complicated with political parties involved. It has a defective energy system. Buildings are in need of rehabilitation as well. Moving on to opportunities, one opportunity would be to uphold and increase Vienna's high quality of life and social participation through existing resources and technology. In other words, the creation of a smart city. Also, allowing high quality of life for people with a lower income, focus more on the social housing aspect, co determination and participation shape the development of the city, attract tourism, and generate income. Now, in terms of threats, the change in population can be a threat. Governance may become more demanding. The climate change and unachievable goals as well as in change in politics. And finally, increase of government spending can cause crowding out effect, and no, not obviously, the high foreign employment may affect opportunities for locals. Now, the vision that we have for the city. This is a graph showing the relationship between the cost and time for each project throughout a 30-year span. The first project by 2050 would be to the 20% renewable energy consumption. By 2030, decrease traffic by 15%. By 2050, reduce energy consumption per capita by 40%. Have a CO2 free commercial traffic by 2030. Maintain strong and active public government. Also by 2050, maintain the research hub and innovation for Europe, be one of the top. Remain highest quality of living. Remain region with the highest purchasing power per capita. And finally, maintain green spaces over 50%. Now, in terms of the roadmaps, it is divided into four pillars, and the first pillar is the transformations of infrastructure, transportation, and mobility. The first thing would be to create higher awareness of sustainable transportation in open innovation labs, schools, colleges, and institutions. Also, by the use of technology, enhance use of Y-mobile card, integrating all transportation methods, and implementing a lot of tech and artificial intelligence. Also, develop new infrastructure to meet higher density and urban population. Important also to accommodate the population to the new and current infrastructure. And finally, reduce motorized transportation by 15%, maintain public transport usage, and increase bicycle to walking. The second pillar would be transformation of services and governance models. First would be to strengthen the health promoting conditions of life and health literacy of all population groups. Also, safeguarding of medical care at the highest level due to demand oriented and efficient supply structures and processes. Also, strengthening of Vienna's cooperation on smart city issues with universities and research institutions. Also, the establishment of a Smart City Wine Award with three categories: resource preservation, innovation, and quality of life for exemplary projects, and finally, large scale rollout of open government as principle and driver of innovation. The third pillar will be the transformation of economy. Now, the first thing would be to remain one of the 10 European regions with the highest purchasing power based on per capita GDP. Second would be to strengthen its position as a preferred company headquarters city in Central Europe. Third would be to push 10,000 people annually to set up enterprises in Vienna. Also, increase direct investment flows from and to Vienna, and increase the share of technology intensive products to 80% by 2050. Finally, the second pillar for the roadmaps will be in terms of the transformation of the built environment. The first would be to create green building solutions, programs, and scholarships to create awareness and distribute knowledge of energy efficient construction. Second would be to implement solutions and innovative developments like flexible pop-up dorms, greenhouses, and wooden buildings. And finally, adapt future pipeline projected of 220,000 dwellings to meet expected demand in 2050.